Let me jump in with one quick observation on this. If you look at the data from Transparency International on corruption worldwide and perceptions of corruption worldwide, one of the things that's striking is that you see a very strong correlation, inverse correlation, between perceived levels of corruption and economic development. The more developed a country is, the lower corruption is. And the causation question is, which direction does it go? Is that corruption is an impediment to development? Clearly that's true. But the opposite is also true. As a country develops, this culture of compliance does emerge. And I think if you look at China, the levels of corruption that you see are roughly what you would predict based on China's level of economic development. I think what has to happen is continued attention to the issue, and there's a lot of public attention to it within China as well as from outside, coupled with a real commitment to continue to make progress and not to be complacent about the extent to which it's not there. I think it does involve continued institutional development, but I'm actually, again, I guess I would say like Karen, I'm an optimist based on the amount of progress that has been made, even though there is still a tremendous distance left to go.
As for the corruption problems, I would say China is very serious, want to deal with, want to resolve these problems. As a developing country, you see the corruption is happened. The people are not happy about this, are angry about this. I'm happy, well, I'm very angry about this. But the thing is how to resolve these problems. One way is to improve the system mechanism to supervise the officials. But from my view, you see, it's not only from the internal supervision, but also from the outside, from the people, from the mass media, to supervise the behavior of the government officials. We can, you see, improve our system is one hand. The supervision from the people, from the mass media is another way. So we combine these two, I believe the corruption problems will step by step, slowly to resolve it.
And I think you hit it on the nail when you talked about compliance and resources, because it's not only about, torture is the cheapest form of investigation. It's not necessarily the most effective, but it's cheap. You can't go in and say, okay, don't do this without giving an alternative. Like, for instance, one of the things we realize with defense attorneys is if you want them to actually do some investigation, you have to give them some money for the petro, put some petroleum into the motor so they can go and do some investigation. Same thing for police officers. You can't just say stop torturing to get a confession without giving them alternative means as well as materials for it. So it's multi-layered. It's not just laws, which China has or many countries have. It's about how do we come together as a world community to also support them in the resources they need to make these laws a living, breathing reality, not just a piece of paper, but how do you make it reality? That's the hard work, and that, I think, is the hard work that we all have to be committed to doing.
Karen, would you give Charlie your mic? Ladies and gentlemen, jury, you have heard from us. You're the jury. Unfortunately, the time has expired, and we just barely touched on the topical area. And I wish I could have all day to go in these areas, because there are so many good discussions that can be derived from this topical area of rule of law. Three of us on your right have been basically working at the level in China from top down. Karen is working from the down up, and I'm working with her as well. And I'm going to give, and I'm timing you, Charlie, I'm going to give Charlie C. 30 seconds to talk about IBJ. 30 seconds.
Well, I hear this wonderful discussion. I've been involved with Karen for the past 5 years. And I just want to tell you, every time I visit China, I visit Karen's office in Beijing, in Hefei, and I will encourage every one of you to visit Karen's office in Beijing whenever you get a chance, go to China or any other office there. Because Karen is doing something is real to bring about the practice of law, and that the Western press never covers it. And her work is really human rights work, because to prevent tortures, you know, to promote litigations. And I wish Karen needs all the support from you, and I hope, you know, you will support Karen. But also, Karen's doing one wonderful job in Shijiazhuang. And in Shijiazhuang is near Beijing. They are setting up a model practice of a legal system. And in fact, in the last time I visited, they actually reversed a capital punishment case through the work of Karen's organization with Professor Chen Guangzhou. You know, and I think these are wonderful works going on in China, yet the Western world doesn't know anything about it. And I think it is the mission of the committee to let people know what's going on in China. And thank you very much, Judge Liu.